Hello, everyone. Hi. Hey there. My name is Chris Farah, and welcome. This is The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It was the season 3, episode 11 reunion special. The seasons are kind of weird because this felt like it was supposed to be kind of like the end of season 2. It should have been like season 2B, but here we are. So, yes, we are in the reunion special, and there was only 10 episodes this season, which I'm fine with. And here is, to me, a great win. We got a female host of this tell all. I mean, oh, is she a professional comedian or journalist? No, no, no. She's a reality star. But you know what? It makes sense. It doesn't not make sense. And actually provided some hilariousness, which I'm excited to talk about with you. Hi, welcome. I'm excited to see people in the room. I just want to give everyone like a moment to just get their bearings and come on in. The water's fine. If you don't mind, give it a little thumbs up or, tickle my algorithm if you don't mind. It just means like, hey, I don't mind that I'm here. And I want people to know that I don't mind in a free way. I want it to be easy for me, but also great for you. So, like that's that. Or, share whatever you want to do. I'm right now live on YouTube and Facebook. So thank you so much wherever you are watching, either on the Chris Farah YouTube or Chris Farah's page on Facebook. I'm excited to see people here. Hello. It's been a great day. If you guys don't know, because we're going to wait a little bit to people come in the room and then I will start the episode. Don't worry, it won't be too long. It's been a great little week where I am excited to premiere the podcast art for Vanity Fair, which is my new podcast. If you are currently subscribed to the DocuSweeties RSS feed, that will be the Vanity Fair feed, so you can just already be there. So go ahead and enjoy. I'm excited to see what you guys think. Please tell me what you feel when you listen to my first couple of episodes. Please give my like a little 5-star review if you don't mind. That would really help. Okay, so obviously on the docket, as we know, we're going to talk about the final reunion of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, as I know. I've already said. And then coming up, we are still following 90 Day Fiance Toe the Other Way. And premiering is 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. So, 290 days at all times. That's what they give us. It's like Parent Trap. And that's really one at a time. It's like, yeah, it's always when the twins come together and kind of that frantic energy. I do like Parent Trap. And also, I didn't get to see there was a Broadway show called Ginger Twinsies that I guess was a like fun parody of that. But everyone who saw Ginger Twinsies on Broadway thought it was campy fun. And I like some campy fun. What reality show was Stassi on? Stassi was on Vanderpump Rules. And I'll tell you this right now, you're not the only one Hawaiian dude that did not know that. Did you guys like this tell-all? Like, it's funny. This tell-all wasn't interesting in any of the drama. There was no drama other than Brett being an asshole, and I already knew that, so we can talk about it. But like, there wasn't any like crazy. Well, I guess Demi Jen. There were no bombshells. For instance, there were no bombshells that happen after that we'll talk about. Fruity Pebbles. So what we end up getting is these micro nuanced moments of the girls or anyone giving their quick-witted and or hopeful, like they're thinking on the sly opinion when it's written on their face, and they're not having poker faces, honey. They're having the opposite. So let's get in, shall we? It's at 4 minutes, or maybe I'll wait till 5. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. 5 minutes. I'll start in 50 seconds. What are you guys doing? It's December 4th, Thursday. It's 7:05. How are you? Have you cooked dinner? I got dinner, honey, to go. I knew was going to be able to do this. I said had. I knew I had to watch and prepare for this, and then I'm excited to actually talk about it. The only annoying thing is when I have to like actually put work into it, like typing out things. Ugh. And then when I can just talk about it, it's great. And maybe at some point, someone will just prepare for me. I just show up, honey. But then at some point, also maybe they'll just plug me in because I'm a weird AI like robot. Who knows? Okay, 10 seconds. You're like, Chris, hurry up. This can't come fast enough. Okay, I have to leave a comment. So let people know if you're in the replay. We are starting. So this is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's season 3. It's episode 11. This is the reunion special. It's a live recap. I'm super excited to talk about it with you. It had a great, for me, choice in a tell-all host with Stassi, and we'll get in. So as we know, everyone shows up to the studio, and we're assuming the studio is in LA because they have probably like premium JSX tickets by now that just pops them right from Burbank to, Salt Lake City. God bless them. And they're coming, honey, in what is obviously the down leisurely loungewear that these ladies love, which is oversized sweats, just, a straight leg, a blousey leg sweat, and then an off the shoulder, maybe big tee or sweatshirt that's also big, or hoodie. Uggs, it's like comfort. It's either that or full blown glam. It's very extremist. That's why they have to go that comfy cozy, because it's exhausting for them. Okay. As we're prepping, Layla is in the glam room and she says that this season she looks different. And that's true. She has. And I think that she has been able to make a name for herself. And I really enjoyed her. And especially some of the micro moments, I was on her side against some of the Macy Michaela bullshit that she had to deal with. I was obviously happy to share her hair journey with her. And I'm happy that she supposedly, found love, which we'll talk about. She Also, Layla gives the best, shocked or what the fuck faces, or her mind's being blown faces, or no, what the don't kind of, I cannot stop it right there kind of faces. She does it a lot. Where she's just like, I took a picture when I was watching it, where she's just always big eyed. So I really appreciate a take. Obviously, she can mug, honey. She really can. I love that, Layla. I really do. Jess is like, you know what? You have been, but it's great. You're more genuine, and that's great. Layla and Jess get along really well, and Layla and Miranda film a lot together. So that's what I feel like, because Layla's best friends are definitely not Michaela and Macy. I've already said that. Michaela and Macy are their own best friends, and then now they're baby best friends. So we find out Taylor's not there yet, and Taylor might not even show up because Dakota might be there. And Taylor said, it's either me or Dakota, or if he's there, I'm not going to show up. Now, here's the thing. I want to know the nuance of the contracts, because to me, Taylor is the CEO. Taylor owns Mom Talk. Taylor is the CEO. But I think what's unfortunate, and what I'm trying to hear and understand, is that I think that they sold the entire concept of Mom Talk and the decisions and how that runs to Disney, Hulu, Disney, ABC, Disney, Hulu, Disney, ABC, whatever, the mouse. So that what feels like a natural, oh, if I say something, it should fly. If Taylor says that she won't film if Dakota's there, to us it's like, well, then you're gonna come because it's your shit. He doesn't have to be there. I mean, can you imagine? But anyway, that's what the streets say. The streets being Zach, who is real chatty in this separate dad talk area, you know what I'm saying, that shouldn't even be there, because who cares about them? Unfortunately, even Zach going up against Brett, it's a little bit too much of dudes thinking they matter. Dudes don't matter. That's why I'm mad that Dakota is even if that Dakota's given any space. Dakota doesn't deserve any space. Honey, this is Taylor's realm. It's Taylor's realm. It's a queendom. I've already said this. If Dakota wants space, then Dakota can go do whatever the fuck Dakota wants to do in his life. But he met Taylor when she was already famous. This isn't Taylor's first love, Taylor's first husband, or someone that even deserves. He met her after all of that. She brought him along. God, I'm so mad that she did this. Okay. Here we are. So Jessie said she lost her wedding rings, and we're like, sometimes part of Jessie is that I think that she just talks. Some One part of Jessie is that she just doesn't have a filter at all. She overshares to the point where I think that she just says every thought in her head at any time as they're coming out. And if it sounds bad or she shouldn't say it, too bad. That's not what she's thinking. She's thinking about the words coming out of her mouth. They're already out, you know? Um, because I want to be like, is that you telling us that your marriage is done? Only because we watched last season. We certainly know some of the themes you've been dealing with. Emotional affair. So, where are those rings? Whose shitty bedside table are they on from a bullshit reality show adjacent to you and owned by the mouse, you know? God, could you imagine? I'm trying to think of another who I mean, like, yeah, any Bravo show, like who she could have like gotten with on a Bravo show. And it's unfortunate because as you know, I love sister wives. So because they're obviously in the same state, my first thought was, could Jesse hook up with like someone like Cody? And the answer is no, none of them could. I would never want that. But I also kind of want them to talk about sister wives. Like I would love any of their opinions on sister wives. Maybe that's a deep dive I'd do to see if any of those girls talk about it. Do they talk about it? Will you tell me? Okay, so here we are. So we get a little recap of the last season. Who gives a shit? But Zach is talking about Brett and Demi, and basically how Brett and Demi went on a full like brigade against him and Jen, but also it would be like basically, as we know, because the first season of Gals went to Hulu's own Vanderpump Villa and had relations, two of them, Demi and Jesse, with someone named Marciano. Um, it wasn't just like I mean, all the girls were there, not all the girls, because Macy wasn't there, but Michaela was there. And Jen and Michaela were both like, we feel like we saw a flirting happening with Demi. And none of us think that did not happen. Now, what ended up transpiring is what felt like later is Demi then said that she was in fact assaulted. And that assault being from Marciano's hand uh, was not tolerated or swallowed by the girls. And then there lies the rub, a lot of the issues that are going to happen in this tell all. Now, this obviously is messy, honey. I mean, messy. Have you guys been into that Zara Lawson? Oh my God. I love that Zara Lawson. I'm going to this obviously this sounds like I'm having an ADHD moment and for sure I am, but she has one song Midnight Sun that is like obviously so good. I'm very into it, but uh she has another song that I just downloaded. Um, it's called Pretty Ugly. And it's so good. And the basic like lyrics of it is like, have you ever seen a pretty girl get ugly like it ugly like this, get messy like this? And I feel like it's so Secret Lives of Mormon Wives coded. I have to stop saying that coded situation. I gotta get that out of my nervous system. But I really like both Midnight Sun and Pretty Ugly. So just remember that I said this because you haven't listened to those songs by Zara Lawson. It's so fun. They're so good. They're just like such bops. Anyway, so these girls are getting messy and they're pretty, as we know. That's why I said what I said. And Taylor walks in. So we're like, oh, good. Taylor's here, the queen. Now, did we think that Taylor wasn't going to come? No. We feel like Hulu would do whatever it takes to make sure that Taylor was going to be there. Now, I feel like if she said that he can't be there, then I wonder how they were like, okay, you'll never be on stage with them. Don't worry. Because, as you know, what happens. Macy and Michaela both had their babies and they're just like low key, like doing those things that moms do, like feeding them babies with them boobies, booby feeding the babies, God bless them. I'm glad that in this world that women can bring their babies to work and just do what they need to do to get the things that are priorities in their life done. And I sometimes like that alone is why it's annoying. Like when we talk about like a patriarchal world or whatnot, it's because when you walk into a workplace, it's not made for someone that has to have like a baby, survive in the first, whatever year of its life, unless there is like accommodations for that, and I'm just happy that any person can find themselves in a situation where their quality of life is good because they found pockets in which it works for them. I mean, we have to make this world work for us in some way. I think that's maybe one of the secrets to life is, or the secret to happiness is like find your little cheat code or find the way to make this world work for you, like, and by work for you, I mean, your the infrastructure and structure of your day-to-day life and your work and your creativity and your payment and the way that you interact with others has to be, like s- it has to be effective for your high priorities. And I think that one of the things that keeps women, at home for sure, especially during the first year of child rearing is how hard it is to do basic things with a baby in public or, even in a workplace. So God bless. I just like it. So, I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of snark about this show and everything. And there's a lot of like vapidness about it. And for sure, it's disgusting at some points and definitely messy like the song. But also, I'm happy that she can just feed that baby. I'm happy that baby has a booby in her mouth. I really am. Layla says Dakota isn't here, but he will watch it. And we're like, oh, did you get a special like update from a producer, Layla? Is that your wishful thinking? Then we have a group prayer. And the group prayer happens to what feels like a very dramatic version of What Child Is This? And then I start to realize that because the mouse runs this, that they have like access to like really impressive music licenses and catalogs. Like they're going to play What Child Is This? They're going to play Suddenly the Nutcracker, like a fancy version of the Nutcracker. You're like, "Oh, this isn't Bravo." Well, Bravo is this. I'm telling you what I don't know what the money was, but you usually don't get to hear I feel like super fancy versions of Christmas songs. Am I lying? You tell me. Um so basically after that, they sit down, and this is where Michaela, honey, I mean, cuts Stassi down. So Stassi's Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules is there, and this is where you really get to see the generational divide between women in their 20s and women in their 30s. Jason, right now, and why it's sometimes okay. Tell me if it's difficult for you. Why it's difficult for me to remember the divide is that a lot of women who have gotten a lot of fillers and plastic surgery, a lot of them, multiple ones, not just one, multiple ones, and especially like features that are easily identifiable. Once you get easily identifiable plastic surgery with fillers, people start to look the same. So that I can't always quite tell the difference between what is Stassi's generation and what's Jesse's generation. Is there that different? But they're, mm, yes. The answer is yes as a generation, but I forget because they kind of all look the same a little bit. They don't look that off. I mean, whatever, God bless. Okay. So we know Stassi. I mean, I know Stassi, we know Stassi. We know these girls. Mac doesn't know Stassi. Mac's like, is this your first time hosting? What are you new? Are you from Entertainment Tonight? Stassi's like, well, I was, of course, on many a tell-all. And I also hosted already a tell-all for the Vanderpump Villa. And then Michaela, who's already been on that show, was like, oh, I watch it, which is bad form. Okay, LOL. Um, so off, okay, so off whatever camera, and I guess like off of the like set is dad talk in like a private room, and they've been like fraternizing, and that's I guess a word I'm using, lightly as they've set up and as they started filming. And so we've seen already some like back and forth between Brett and Zach, and the back and forth has been like cocky, peacocky, pissed, like where Zach's like, dude, I just can't fucking believe, you can sit here after what, you and your wife did. And like, Brett being like, you're dumb. Your voice is stupid and shut up, little man. Like a bunch of like bullshit. You're like, oh my God. So, but during this back and forth, like Brett is yelling at Zach over things. And Zach is like, I cannot even believe you would open your mouth because we know that your wife sent this man a text being like, Marciano, being like, Yeah, like no, I mean, I'm just gonna like paraphrase, but yeah, the taste of oysters is reminiscent of like male ejaculate, whatever. And that is like one of the cruxes of the girls being like, and you're telling us that you were like sexually abused by this man. And then Demi's like, what I'm telling you is that I talk like that all the time with everyone. And also, like, I was just trying to like appease him so that he wouldn't come out with what he did to me and Jesse. Like, it's a very convoluted story. And that part's also confusing. So basically, Zach's like, you don't have a fucking leg to stand on, Brett. Your wife's guzzling what oyster juice in people's DMs. So, like, what? And Brett's like, shut up, Zach. You have a munchkin voice.
You sound like my Munchkin Land.
Now, is that true? Yeah. No, it's true though. No, it's true. I wish, I mean, it's fuck. I don't even not I don't like Brett at all. I think Brett's weird. And I think he's roided out and coked up and who knows what. And he definitely, is thirsty in many different ways, honey. Very thirsty, violently thirsty. We can't quench that thirst, honey. But I will tell you that was a bad and funny read. He is a nightmare, and he has talked like literally trash, like called Miranda white trash, like whatnot. And to me, I don't quite know what the social economic levels of any of these people are. I think that we're supposed to believe that Brett has money just by the pure fact that he has a younger, quote unquote, hot wife. And to me, is hot. I'm not saying that she's not, but I'm saying, like, just in the trophy wife aspect. That's why I said it. Like, the fact that he has Demi as a younger wife, and I think that he's already been married, we assume then that he has financial means. Now, for him to call Miranda white trash is interesting in the, like, to me, just the idea of this white Mormonism world. Are there must, yeah, listen, let me finish a sentence. There must be such levels like there are in everything, that like there are financial class levels in the church. I would never think that Miranda, like, to me, Miranda and Demi look like they're on the same level. They get their hair done by the same girls. They're in the same group of people. Like, I don't know if he means like Miranda because she swung as white trash or whatnot, but I mean, anyone that, like, yeah, there's no Demi without Miranda. Sorry, I have a little, like, I have a little allergy thing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so he's a disgusting nightmare, but that munchkin joke, honey, really took me out. I mean, Zach's voice is that. You sound like a munchkin. What? Oh, no. I mean, I can't even do Zach's voice.
It's like in their throat. I don't know how you do it. It's something like this.
I don't even, can you even imagine it though? It's so funny. He knew it too. And everyone, Jace was like low blow about the voice. Too real, too real. It's like, like, it's too much. You have to, like, not go for like the jugular. Like, that's probably like his deepest insecurity. You don't think about voices like that. Like, no, you don't think about insecurity with voice or making fun of someone's voice as much as you would think. I mean, I don't listen. I don't make fun of people's voices usually. This is Brett, but historically, it's like they're singing in the rain, right? Where, like, there's a silent movie star that on camera, when it's like black and white, she's like wildly great, and then when they try and make her like talk, she talks like this, it's horrible, or whatever, something like that. And that was probably very high. But and obviously there's stuttering and stuff like that. But I wonder how many people are insecure about their voice and then actively take means to change it. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right now. As an actor, I should be taking daily change courses in my voice. I should be obviously articulating more and slowing down, making sure that my tongue does everything my tongue's supposed to do because it can be very lazy or it has some tension in the back. There's a lot of things that I can do to like change my voice and to stop saying like, stop saying maybe it would be better if I did use a lower use a lower resonant voice if I really wanted to pretend that I was smarter, if I wanted to make sure you guys knew that I knew what I was talking about. I wonder if Zach ever, but no, I'm gonna go back up. I wonder if Zach ever thought, I'm gonna try and change my voice and how hard it would be for someone like Zach too. I'm not saying he should, but if he wanted to, like, would there just be voice lessons that this person would go to and he would try and open up what the resonant sounds of his chest, and just like from actor training, like what, just breathing and opening that up and then just trying to place your voice down there more. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have manipulated their voice specifically to like, if they are wanting to like pass or be a certain gender, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. Zach is Zach and he wants to be Zach, but like his voice is munchkin-y. It does feel like a little Brock, Wicked. And it's a wicked joke. It's a wicked adjacent reference. Um, So then we move on to the little updates, honey. So, oh, one more thing. When we go back to the girls, none of them know Stassi. That's when Stassi's like, yeah, guys, just so you all know, I'm like 10 years older than you. I'm like 39. You're like, what, 24? And Michaela and Macy are like, we've never seen you before. And Taylor's like, yeah, I haven't seen you, but I'll look up your show. And that's when Stassi was like, well, I don't want you to think about, I'm a bad person from the choices I made when I was 20. And that's when Stassi has to be like, I'm elder than you. But then I was like, don't say that. In the Mormon culture, elder means something different, unless she knows that and she's using that word. Is Yeah, that'd be interesting. So Stassi says some weird choiced words where I'm like, is that planned? That was one, that elder thing. That's a little reaching, maybe, but something else comes up and I'll tell you about it later. So the updates happen where Michaela and Macy both had their babies, both had girls, great little girls. And guess what? Their names are not Charlotte. So watch what you say, because I guess there was like some rumor that they both named their babies Charlotte. And they didn't. Um, yeah. So boring but great. We can see those babies probably on the TikTok. Um, we get into this prenatal depression conversation, and I just want to bring up Jen. Jen, I loved Jen's look. Now, the pictures that Hulu decided to use as their promotional shots were across the board so hated by social media that they had to call them out, and the girls did. Jessie was like, well, I'll talk about Jessie in a second. Jessie was basically like, they made us take these pictures at the end of the day, and I want to I want to be like, why didn't they put a ring light on you? Why is there no why do they give these girls no front lighting? Where is the lighting in this picture? You wouldn't do this to your worst enemy, honey. But look at Jen's hair. Now, on the tell all, you can really see it better because, again, there's better lighting. But I also loved her dress. I thought it was sweet. It also was like a beautiful color. And some of the colors were weird against this backdrop. As you see, the backdrop is white, cream and white. So to me alone, I'm like, well, I wouldn't use a color like cream or white because you want to stand out. Look at Michaela. Michaela knows how to serve. I like this like sweetheart neckline. It's like both of these look like they're kind of like made maybe from the same. I bet you feel. I feel okay. Let me finish the sentence. Both of these feel like they're from the same maker, and both of them feel accessible. Like none of these dresses feel like either of them are like Dolce and Gabbana. Both these feel like you could get these maybe even from Amazon, which probably you can. Layla, honey. Layla with a legging up, honey. I love me some Layla. And also Whitney served. Now Whitney and Layla at least gave like a gold shimmer, and Whitney is barely off of the cream color, but Whitney's also two-piece asymmetrical. I think also was my second favorite look. I of course gave it to Jen because I think that color was a little better for the task at hand, which was a tell-all with these colors. And I think that this look that Whitney is rocking would be better in a holiday setting. Okay, and there's Taylor. Again, cream and white. Here's everyone on the docket. Jessie also wore silver. So Jessie's video, she's like, and you can see Stassi's wearing red. Jessie's like, I hated the fucking pictures. Let me tell you about it. They fucked us over. They made us take it at the end of the day. Also, I had my outfit picked up, and then 12 hours before, they told me I couldn't wear my dress because Stassi was wearing red. And they let Stassi, you know, her will runneth over, which was interesting, right? Kind of going back to that thing where Taylor was like, I don't want Dakota to be here. So we're all like, so Dakota won't be there then, right? And it's interesting to see who would have precedent. Like the host of a show is one thing, but Stassi isn't the host of this show all the time. This is even not even her like tried and true tell all gig. This is her first time doing her tell all gig. But there must have been someone that was like, it'll look better if Stassi has like a red color to center the thing. And if she's doing red, you can't. But then at the same time, I would have been like, all right, girls, have two fucking options. Twosies, woozies, optionies in different colors. And I also think that I would have again said like no silver, white, or cream, just because the entire set is that, babes, the entire one. But Jen is like talking about the prenatal depression that she had to deal with that took her off season 2, and how it has also turned around. And now that she has Penny, her daughter, it's like she cries, she's so happy. Penny's, is great, and she loves it or whatever, loves Penny and loves, the transformation that she's had in her life and how babies save us. Now, that's what Stassi said. Stassi says, babies save us. And when she said that, I was like, what? In the conservative trad wife, babies save us? All right. Jesus. I don't know. I was like, Stassi, I can see. Okay, I don't know. I thought it was telling and I need people to talk about it. Period. So Brett and Zach then talk behind the scenes. And basically, because Jen has cried and said everything about whatnot, and Brett was an asshole and said that Zach sounded like a munchkin, and Brett, I don't know if like the line of coke that Brett had done right before this had started, he hit maybe had just worn off and he had like a little empathy. So then he like hugs it out, hugs it out with Zach. And we're supposed to believe that's okay. And then they barely talk to Whitney. They're like, so Whitney, you came back because of Dancing with the Stars. And it must be because when they filmed this, they couldn't talk about Whitney or where she was in it or like what was happening. Like they must have just been like, it's really not happening. Obviously it was. So she's like, yeah. And they're like, well, Demi, why did you come back then? Because obviously we know Whitney's main motivation. And Demi was like, I had unfinished business and I really saw a lot of like my shadow self. And it's like, okay, I get it. There's just like the lexicon of words that we're using that are therapy words that are like adjacent to memes on Instagram, and shadow work, shadow self, insecure attachment, dismissive avoidant, mother wound, narcissist, types of narcissists. I'm trying to think of all of the like different Instagram words. Like they're going to talk about accountability a lot here, but there's so many like words that we are using now and people use kind of easily and freely without really knowing like denotation of it. And they've just assigned whatever connotation she thinks shadow work is or shadow self is. Because I just don't think that Demi is working on her shadow work and shadow self. I mean, I don't even think that she's pretending to do like a dance with like Peter Pan with her shadow. I don't think that she, even dances to that one song like Me and My Shadow a little bit, like a little soft shoe. She doesn't know her shadow. I don't think she's ever seen her shadow, honey. Then we get a horrible product placement situation, and that is a Dunkin' bar. It's a Dunkin' drink bar. Why I also thought this was interesting because I'm 99% sure that Swig had some sort of like contract with them. But Swig isn't national. Maybe Dunkin' is. So maybe that's how they got around it. Or maybe I'm not quite sure. But obviously they had a full Dunkin' coffee bar. I'm no saint, but I just have never been into Dunkin'. I mean, I've gone through Starbucks 1 billion times. It isn't like I won't go for like, whatever easy coffee. But I think the Dunkin' thing is that okay, I don't like sweet things in the morning. I don't like donuts. I need like an egg bite or like I need like something salty, And so I don't understand Dunkin' drinks. I don't even know what kind of drinks you get at Dunkin' besides I'm assuming iced coffee that is sweet, right? Like it has some sort of sweetness to it. Truly horrible. So that's when we get the barista, the bartender of the Dunkin' bar, and it's Chase. And then everyone comes out, makes fun of him, and he's like, "Hey," and they're all like, "You're having sex with Taylor," and he like doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. He loves this. He's like so happy to be on TV. He's so happy to play a part like we're boning, and Taylor is literally, and this was the same energy she gave him in the meetup, is giving him like, I can't tolerate you. Taylor's energy toward Chase is, Hulu is making me have this moment with you, but there is no real connection or spark. And I'm like mad at myself that I have to deal with this. Either because she's obsessed with Dakota or whatnot, but she doesn't seem like happy. She doesn't seem excited or like turned on by Chase at all. And she certainly won't give like an ounce of like attention to him. Okay, so one interesting thing though is that obviously Chase is Miranda's ex, and also Chase also dated Layla, and also Chase's brother is now dating Layla. So messy, messy, messy. Those pretty girls get messy. Miranda was like, yeah, it was weird because I thought you guys were just going on a coffee date, and then when I saw the scene, it suddenly was a date. So I was confused. And then Stassi's like, okay, well, what's happening, Taylor? What's happening with you and Chase? And Taylor's like, you'll have to wait till season 4, I guess. I know I stumbled through that, but like, and she wouldn't, but truly couldn't care less about this. And that's when Stassi's like, yes, season 4 coming up. We'll save it for then. I mean, God bless. It doesn't seem like a real thing. Also, we know that she's about to go on Bachelorette. So unless they really want there to be options for them to bring in, like while she's on Bachelorette, like are they going to bring in Chase? Is Chase going to be like, I couldn't have you be on Bachelorette without me having an honest chance, And then of course that like when it gets down to the final 4 and she's at the Bachelorette suites or whatever, Dakota's going to come in and be like, hey, I've just been tortured thinking about all I've done and the fact that we can't raise ever together and we should be happily ever after, and I'm fucking it all up, but now it's fucked up forever, because of me. I fucked it up forever, as you say, And then she has to like pick between like whether she wants to be with Dakota or whoever is her final 4. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. It premieres in March. So basically with the Swig thing, they are like, every time you hear the word accountability, drink. And I don't feel like they even really said it that many times after that. I didn't count, but I feel like I didn't hear it that many times after. So we also realize that this whole Vanderpump Villa thing is going to happen again, where now Dad Talk is going to go away to London to the Vanderpump Villa, and then we're supposed to believe that like they probably fucked around and one of those guys cheated on their wives and they already know, and like secrets are about to be revealed because who knows what. So then Mason comes out and Layla's like with Mason. We're also happy for her. But then this is also interesting. So Mason comes out and we get the story I just told you, which is that Layla dated Chase first, Chase being Miranda's ex, Miranda, being Miranda and being the swinger that Taylor swung with. And now Taylor is pseudo dating Chase. And now Layla is dating Mason. And Miranda, when Mason comes out, doesn't actually clap for the thought of Layla and Mason being officially together. Other girls do, like Jessie claps. And I just thought it was interesting because at one point, Mason was Miranda's whole ass brother in law. So she knows Mason very well. And Miranda and Layla film together all the time. Like, I feel like you see them always are budding up. They're like little magnets together. So I don't know. I was like, Miranda doesn't like Layla and Mason together. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like him for her, or she's annoyed in some way. There's something about it that's not sitting right. Okay. So that's when Jessie low key, and by low key I mean actually asks out of her mouth, who's bigger? Meaning whose dick is bigger between Mason and Chase. To me, that's like wildly rude to ask. It's just rude to ask. Like, and sometimes it does make me feel like Jessie just will say whatever the fuck comes in her mind. I'm not saying it's rude to ask for one reason more than the other, but like even if you were raised religious, it's kind of like weird and offsetting. And like if she's your friend, like why would you? I don't know. Put her on the spot that way, like it'd be an awkward thing to have to answer. But yeah, like Jessie almost has like yeah, like just an inability to stop herself from saying, almost like Tourette's, but not really. But, like where she just like it's in her mind, it's out her mouth. Um, we move on to Michaela and Jace. Obviously, Michaela and Jace dealt with a lot of intimacy issues. This stemmed from her really unfortunate and shitty, tragic sexual abuse that she suffered like through her childhood. And even though she just had a baby, she gets asked like an update about it and if things have improved, and the answer is no. She says she's had the baby, but she has some health issues that have arisen. We know that she has eczema, but also that it hasn't remedied itself. And they play, a quote from Jace where he's like, it's a deal breaker for me not to have like intimacy in my marriage or affection. And you know, I would want to know like what I guess I want to know what the work is besides actually just talking about the sexual abuse, because even though I'm happy that she got through that, it's like I would love to know what that work looks like. Like what does intimacy work look like for a married couple? Is it like create a list of ways in which you feel comfortable sharing affection? I mean, I don't know. Is it like cuz he could be like I want my wife to come home and wear a sexy outfit with no underwear and bend over in front of me. I mean, I'm just spitballing. And, like wink at me and, like make me my favorite dinner and then, like rub my feet and, like tell me how handsome I am and like look in my eyes and then make love to me every night. Like, that's a lot, right? But, and what if she's like, well, I can for 5 minutes a day hold your hand and or, like once a week we can have a makeout session on Sunday nights. And or like, let's just say that this is not true, but let's, I at least don't know it to be true. We know that she has eczema. So what if she's like, I don't want to touch or whatever, like her touching is not it, or she's afraid to like expose her skin or who knows, or it itches. Like, what are things in which she and Jace can experience intimacy that isn't that? Like, can she play with his hair? I don't know. Little things. But I would love to know what that looks like. So then at this point, she's crying, and she's like, yeah, it's obviously been very hard and we're still dealing with things. And at this point, there starts to be like a series of like people talking about their sexual assault, leading, of course, to Demi being like, that's what I've been saying all the time. We've all been sexually assaulted, and you all have to give me the grace that you've given yourselves, basically. But the way it happens is this. So That is what Michaela's talking about. Then Jesse is like, this reminds me of me because I just had therapy and I uncovered a memory that I was raped at 18. Okay. Then, right. Then Connor cries and Connor's Whitney's husband. Connor's crying. And then he's like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, Jesse. And then Demi is watching all of this and Connor's crying and everything. And she's like, me, also me, the sexual assault. And she's like, it was, here's the thing. I'm not saying Demi didn't have sexual assault, but she is obviously not she is more preoccupied with them believing her on camera about this than she is what seemingly is to be honest about her part she played and why she did certain things across the board with mom talk and like how she handled with Jen and Jesse. Like the way that she handled Marciano with Jesse alone is messy. So she again is like, I hate that we've all experienced this and it's important for us to believe each other. And the ladies on the couch opposite from her, like Jen, Michaela, Taylor, Macy, all of them are staring at Demi with a face that is like, shut up. I hate you. And I can't say anything. I just have to allow it. Like, they're like, I have to allow you to say this piece. I don't have to change my face. I'm not going to. There's not one part of these girls, and I'm not saying that they have to, but they're choosing not to be like, I get it. They're just like, interesting. So we get another big montage, and then we kind of like get Jesse and Jordan. Of course, their drama with Marciano, the same. And we get like a bunch of playback, and Jesse's like, it was never about Marciano. It could have been anyone. I could have fucked anyone or I could have just kissed anyone. I was just so hungry for what I wasn't getting at home, was just someone to think I was cool and wasn't yelling at me all the time and thought I was either sexy or whatever, interesting. And that's what he did. Marciano did that, albeit in a very fake way, made it like it seemed like it should be obvious that he was just playing with you. I'm going to have to take a little sip of water. So give me 1 second. Okay, my lips. So anyway, basically Jesse's like, I feel bad for what happened. I should have never kissed Marciano. I should have just left Jesse if I wasn't feeling it with Jesse. And after that conversation happens, it like turns, and it's because Demi isn't being as open and upfront about what happened. It feels like with Jesse. Like Jesse is admitting that she kissed him and that Marciano, and that it was a bad decision, and like they're moving on from that. Demi is not saying that. She's saying that he assaulted her, but all these girls also feel like they kissed on a step. And Jen is like holding down true that they kissed on a step, which is another reason why they're giving her like these looks of absolute daggers. Jen hates Demi, and Zach obviously, loves his wife. So Demi starts going against Jen for what she feels like are people not giving her grace. And Jen's like, well, you didn't give me grace. You bullied me. Like, you bullied me out of this group. So I don't understand why you think I have to give you grace now, or why I would give you grace. Like, I don't believe or trust you. And I also 100% saw you kiss Marciano. Like, she didn't say this 100%. She's like, I saw you and I saw what I saw. So, like, you can tell me what you think I'm supposed to believe, but like, I was there. I think, and I think what I think. And when Demi starts going after her, Zach's like, tone it down a little bit. And Demi's like, stop talking to me that way. Shut the fuck up. And she's saying, shut the fuck up to Jen. And then Brett tries to calm in and go in and then tries to calm uh, Zach, but instead of like addressing his wife, who's also yelling, he tries to address Jen and Zach and not like look at his own first. He's like throwing stones like in a glass house, like and is about to topple over. So um Brett tries to be like, Jen, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Jen, because everything at the villa was filmed. So if there is footage of something, let it be known, Jen. And Jen's swallows that. And we're like, not everything is filmed. We know that. Unfortunately, there is not the ability to film everything in real time at all moments, every little single thing. Like you can't see all of the things with big groups of people. You just can't. Um, Brett says things that are out of pocket and wildly delusional where I'm like, I don't want to live in your world. I don't want to live in a world where you think that that's enough or what you've said is enough or that that's going to be like taken. And that's one of them. I was like, no one thinks that. So then the best part comes. Okay. Now I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say it that Brett maybe made the two best parts of this tell all. And I'm mad about that because, yeah, Brett calling Zach a munchkin and having a munchkin voice was top tier, absolutely, and I hate that. If he had said it to anyone that wasn't Zach, I'm sure I'd be mad. But then Brett threatens to walk off the dais. And Jesse's like, then go. Hmm. Don't threaten me with a good time. Bye. To the left, to the left. Like, like Brett being like, if you guys don't calm down, I'm going to walk off this stage. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Brett, how could you think that like your presence is that important? Why? Because you're a white man? No. No, it's just not. No, I just don't think it is. Like, especially not now. Like here, the other great news about I hate to say this because I'm also aging, but like Brett has to have a place in this world where he knows that he's not necessary. He's not necessary in this at all. Neither is Demi. Maybe she has a villainy to her, but I feel like these girls would find other like drama. The drama moves fast. They could bring someone else in. Chase is basically a villain if he wants to be in any moment, you know? Um, Then we get Stassi being like, we're going to have a mystery guest enter the stage. And for the mystery guest to come, the mystery guest has decided they want no one here. We're like, well, we know this is Dakota. There's no one else for this to be besides Dakota. I don't know who you think this was going to be like. The only other people this would be great would be like everyone else that was the swinging group that originally was in Mom Talk. So then Dakota comes on and the dad talk people are there and all the mom talk people are back. And it feels like kind of just like a break, but we're supposed to believe that like, what it is, what it is. They're all just hearing Dakota like, wax on about how hard his life is, and why he decided to like hook up with this person that is basically close to Taylor's family. Because he says they were on a break and, and whatnot. And then basically Taylor just comes out because she, of course, is a toxic person and this is planned and she won't stop ruining her life and or doing the like ungood choice or when it involves Dakota. If Dakota can steal her piece, then he doesn't have to really steal it. She'll like wrap it up in a bow and like put it outside her door, and put like cookies on top and then like spray the entire thing with some perfume and then put some blood on it and be like, come get it. Like it doesn't make it hard or whatever. And so she comes out, of course, yells at him. And he was like, yeah, no, I just totally did you a favor because I weeded out a bad friend for you. She's like, that's so fucked up. Also, she was a bad friend. Yeah, no, I mean, she's shitty. Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of did, but also it is shitty what he did. He could have just flirted with anyone, but he decided to flirt with someone who he didn't like and who he clearly had no intention to hook up with just because it was around Taylor, could get back to her and made him feel good. There are like Dakota is for all intents and purposes some sort of like love or sex addict. attention addict, like, you know, I'm assuming that, I'm assuming that if you trade on people thinking that you're hot all the time, that you start to get, a dopamine fascination with those hits or whatever. And I wonder how you will maneuver in this world to get those hits when necessary, especially if you aren't getting dopamine hits in other ways like drugs or exercise or time with loved ones or grounding moments in nature. You guys remember when dopamine menus were a big thing? Obviously, I talked about all the other like hot words that were associated with Instagram memes in the therapy, you know, world. But like, yeah, dopamine menus. He has one. And like, I think that there is something to, I don't know this, but there must be something great to like knowing that you're hot and then knowing that anytime you can just like flirt with someone and just like get what you want, like an attention thing. And then you just do it with people that are just, I mean, really toxic for you, like your girlfriend's mom's gym friend. Um, so he and, Taylor are yelling back and forth, obviously, which this is supposed to be, I think, the crux of the episode or like the best part of the tell all. I didn't think so. I thought this part was boring, but I think that Dakota and Taylor's drama is the most boring part of any drama storyline of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We're supposed to like have this be like, this is where Taylor's a human. We see her like tragic flaw or whatever, Dakota being her tragic flaw. Because even as he's yelling at her, and he's like, yeah, we know this bad friend for your mom. And, yeah, like I also reached out to your mom to apologize. And then Dakota, Taylor's like, yeah, after you blocked her. And then Dakota's like, well, if that's so bad, then why did you sext me last night? And then she has to be like, you're a pathological liar. Okay. Hulu should have right then and be like, let's see the texts. Where's the texts? You own that man's Verizon plan. Show me the text. What sext? What was the sext? Because Taylor says she didn't, and I believe Taylor. And if he is lying, then show it now. And if he is lying about this, then stop having him on the show. He doesn't have like a place here. I think he's crazy. I think that he might be like absolutely bananas, I think that I would love to see her just be like, I actually can't talk to him anymore. I'll be honest. I'm going to co-parent for the rest of my life with someone that I think is bananas. She says this about him. She's like, I made a mistake. I wish I didn't choose, to have a baby with him. And Dakota hears that as being like, I'm a horrible father. And she didn't exactly say that. She said, you're horrible to her. And she wishes she didn't have a baby with you. Not because she wants to have a baby with someone who'd be a good father. She wants to have a baby with someone that's going to be good to her, is going to treat her well, is going to make her feel good about things. And that's not what she did. But that's not what she did the first time either. So, I mean, however, I wonder if she did her own makeup for the tell-all because, I've been somewhat obsessed with the idea that she said she does her own makeup. I wonder if she brought her own like milk and Mario matte palettes. Yeah, I'm mad that they didn't immediately go to the sext me. I would have really, really liked that. And obviously this is leading us into season 4 and the Bachelorette and I guess the Vanderpump Villa episode of Dad Talk, which we're supposed to care about. But honestly, I wish that they had filmed this and talked about Dancing with the Stars because Whitney barely talked at all, except for one piece of information was that she and Connor had sex, honey, this morning, 8 a.m. They're getting it in. But yeah, she also, I think, has had her bluff now by the time we see this tell all. And I will hiccup. And as I said, she is going to be in Chicago on Broadway. She's Roxy. So good for her. That's the dream of dreams. Can you imagine being able to make that leap from like mom talk to Dancing with the Stars to like Broadway. I mean, that's great for her. And she's a great dancer. You know, I've never heard her sing. I don't know if she can, but the truth of the matter is you don't have to sing for that role. So, it's happy. I'm happy for her. It's great for her. All right, my loves. That's the end of the ep. That's kind of what happened. What do you guys think? Definitely, I love this dark hair on Jen. I mean, that's the look of the ep, honey. It was like back to her roots. It looks so good. It looks so much better than that kind of like weird frosted, like grown in like highlights that she was doing. The tech, everything about it was just so much better. Yeah. I will say that yeah, the dresses all around weren't great, but at least some of the color ones are better. Like I like this color, though this dress itself looked like it was just like an Amazon fashion. Same thing with Layla. And there was entirely too much beige and white that happened for this tell all against this beige and white. Miranda's titties were a little too tittying. Demi was too boring. I also thought Taylor's like dress had a lot of like intricate details of sequence that I don't know got completely lost with the fact that you're sitting down on this tell all. So that's how I felt about the looks. Um, yeah, you guys, we came to an end. We've come to the end of season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's not so secret, their lives. We can be honest, at this point, their lives are pretty much fucking out in the open. I haven't met a secret from them, honey. I don't know. We did find out that unfortunately Jen has also been a victim of sexual abuse. That really is a joke, but not that. The joke I was saying before. But I'm sorry about Jen. ADHD mind. I'm going over the place. There was one secret. That's what I meant to say. That was revealed on the tell all. And the secret being that Jen has withheld the fact that she also is a victim. I feel bad for her. But also, most of the time, none of the lives of the Mormon wives are secret, honey. They're being broadcast all the time. As we also know, the big gross drama that happened off reality show reunion stage is that Jesse went on live and basically was like, yeah, bitches. I remember when we talked about the sexual act that resulted in Brett saying that Demi tasted like fruity pebbles. Her words in so little were that him being a grandpa likes to drink Demi's pee. I was trying to think of a better way to say that. It feels crazy to say, like live broadcast, but there's not a good way to say it. Urine. Anyway, so that because of that, and they're consenting adults, they can do whatever they want, but this is the secret that Jesse decided to air. Because of that, that is what tastes like fruity pebbles. He is talking about her pee tasting like fruity pebbles. And then Jesse was like, yeah, grandpa drinks it every night. And then Demi is like, you know what? Listen, this was a private moment between adults that got out there, but what we do is what we do. And I 100% believe it. I 100% believe it. Um, I definitely didn't think that Fruity Pebbles was pee. No, I didn't either. I think that we all kind of thought it was like, like the thing, that girls do when you make them happy. Back in the day, like in the 90s and 2000s, everyone was like, make sure you eat a lot of watermelon. Or pineapple was pineapple. Make sure you eat a lot of pineapple, blah, 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 so you taste good, da, 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 da. And no one would talk about Fruity Pebbles. I don't like Fruity Pebbles. God, I loved Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries, though. Like, I think about it so much. I think I might have to actually get some Captain Crunch in my life. It's been super long, and I just I need it. I need those Crunch Berries. Ugh. It was pineapple. Yeah. No, I thought it was that, and it turns out it's not that. And you know what? I It's funny because like what Demi will say yes to and what she will cop to and what she won't is so interesting. I do think that Demi felt like Marciano was pushy towards her. But I do feel like these girls live in a patriarchal world where they are quick to judge women. And I do think that women get judged sexually all the time. So now I'm not talking about the Fruity Pebbles thing now. I'm talking about Demi and her relationship with Marciano and like, whatnot. And she is married and she is from a certain faith. And she did not act the way she was, supposed to act. But I think that, often people don't. So she does seem to be wildly emotionally upset about this situation and has to be calmed down multiple times. At the same time, her and Brett have like kept a lot of things at the chest and seem to be really manipulative. They played like a video of them that Zach had saved of them trying to tell Jen what to say, how to frame certain storylines and things. So if you're going to have all of that energy out there, you have to kind of like sit back and relax and take your like foot off the gas pedal and listen. And instead of trying to like manipulate and control how people are doing and thinking. Demi keeps saying like she wants to come back and say her piece or whatnot. But like the truth of the matter is like they definitely want to be famous and they want to be like hierarched in like what's happening. They think that they, have a leg to stand on when it comes to like their position in mom talk. And unfortunately, I think it comes a lot from Brett, who wants that power. And I don't want to give it to Brett. So as long as Demi's with him and pissing in his mouth, honey, he doesn't get it. He gets Fruity Pebbles for sure, but he doesn't get to have Demi play a position in mom talk that will allow him to make rules or make like any decisions. Period. Okay. Period. My loves. Okay, I'm really gonna end this now. But I appreciate you guys spending time with me. Quite a vulgar episode, but this is what they are talking about. This is what it's not me. It's what these Mormon wives are doing. I'm just a good Catholic girl. All right, baby boos. Coming up, obviously, we're following new before the 90 days, 90 Day Fiance. So super excited, as well as 90 Day Toe. I really want to watch. Have you guys watched the P. Diddy documentary? I really want to watch that. I would love to do a live talking about that. It's absolutely imperative that you like this video immediately and like subscribe and hit the notification bell and leave a comment after if you don't mind. It's also imperative that you subscribe to my Substack. And if you haven't yet, go listen to the brand new Vanity Fair commercial on the Docu Sweeties RSS feed or look up Vanity Fair. I'm so pumped to have that live. I am overjoyed to start 2026 like with a really fun new world, I guess, or like yeah, how do I say that, like with a whole thing. So thank you guys so much for all of your like support and for being here with me. Obviously, all of your love and your attention and your even just your company, just your presence. It's a lot. We're gonna do a little breath and we're gonna end um, saying and trying to focus on the small things we can for ourselves and for others and for the world. Okay, so we'll do our 2 breaths. One kind of just like makes us realize how to breathe again, rehearsal breath, and then one to truly be present in the moment that we are, in fact, all together. Hello, all together right now at the same time, all of us in this room, December 4th, 8:09 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So breathe it all out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. We're all together. So crazy. Just be present in this moment with all of us. A little gift before we let our minds and our bodies go other places, okay? Breathing it in. All right, babes. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. Follow me on all the social medias at Chris L. Farah on Instagram and TikTok, Substack, Chris Farah, YouTube, Chris Farah, Vanity Farah on Facebook, Vanity Farah Podcast, and Chris Farah page on Facebook. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye.